Hey everybody, it's Jason at Dogwood Landscape and Pools and Patios again, and welcome to the Holstein backyard. Hold on, should we say like backyard or yeah? Hey there campers, welcome to the Holstein Lodge and Grill. Watch out for the bears, they're eating this time of year. Enjoy yourselves, but don't feed the wild animals. You know, originally we got called to handle the backyard and create that living space. And then as they were thinking about it, and I love these clients, they're the sweetest people. They were actually a referral from some of our other really sweet clients that you're gonna see a video on that, and that one's gonna blow your mind too. But when we got through really kind of laying out the back and getting that plan done, he was like, come over here for a second. Come over here and look, just for a second, come out here and look and tell me what you do here. So I end up telling them what I do, and they're like, okay, let's do this too. So I'm like, all right, you know, no problem. All these boulders that you see on the slope were repurposed, and we wanted to light it up so you can see lights just kind of hidden. Of course, this was 6 years ago and lighting's gotten a little bit more advanced since then, but we had to repurpose this and get all of this hill to stay, and mixing all of these different elements in together. We've got natural boulders, we've got the concrete, we've got natural steppers, I mean, all that stuff. So everything just had to blend and go with it. And again, we were battling sunlight issues. We just weren't getting enough sunlight. So a lot of the plants you'll see are all gonna be shade tolerant plants that have no problem growing, and as you can see, they've all just absolutely exploded. So it's pretty cool. What you don't see is like there's no erosion out here. You don't see mulch and pine straw being pushed down the hill. It was painstaking, but when you do it right, that's what happens, is you don't have those problems, and that's what our clients are paying us for. They have a want, but they also have a problem, and that's what we're paid to do, is give them that want, but also solve that problem first and foremost. The water that comes from up here, it pitches away from the house because it has to, but it would all flow over here and come down. Well, this would always just get blown out. Plants weren't lasting. Pine straw was getting washed down the hill. Again, it was wet, and so, oh my goodness, if one of their friends or if they backed off the side of the driveway, it stunk. So what we had to do over here was manage the water. We had to make sure that we kept the water in one spot and got it down the hill like it's supposed to do, without, of course, eroding everything. And then we also had to reinforce kind of the area between the dry creek bed and the driveway, so that way when someone did drive off of it on accident, they wouldn't just totally go sliding down the hill or ruin everything. They could just put some rocks back in place really quick and everything's solved. It was a little bit of a challenge, to be honest with you. At first, we weren't going to replace the front sidewalk, but they got the pavers in the backyard, and they were like, hey, how much would it be to do the sidewalk in the front and pavers? And we were like, all right, well, we can do that, absolutely. It'll bring all the elements together. So we ended up just giving them a nice running bond walkway all the way to the front door. Gosh, this front yard too was sloped. We added another wall over there that you can't even see now. So that's always a bummer when you can't see the natural boulder walls and stuff, because you want to see those things. But again, erosion control is one of the biggest things that we got to focus on. This is just kind of where everything started. This was a challenge, man. I mean, everything went down the hill, but even just starting right here, we had a swing set they wanted to kind of keep intact, and they figured out the end of the build like, hey, just get rid of it, and we worked around it the whole time. But then we have this gorgeous Japanese maple right here. This had to stay, this had to become a focal point. Oh, and by the way, we want a flat spot for a shed that we're gonna do in the future. So if you could take all this river rock that we have and repurpose it in the build, we'd really appreciate that. But that was kind of the main theme of it, was tying in the pavers with the natural rock look stuff, you know? You need something? You wanna? I'm very easy to laugh at. That's what's good. Oh, what are you cooking again? It smells great. Oh, oh, you did?
Yeah, we're retired.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're retired. We wanted to make it all blend. And so combining what we call the antique look on the pavers with the natural look, of course, of the natural stone, and it just blends so wonderfully. Of course, we just took that all the way through. And man, I love it. I love it. It's all, I mean, you really do think you're in the mountains back here in this backyard. Like, so we just went from Kennesaw, Georgia to there's cabins up in Blue Ridge that would love to have this, you know? The water feature was like a late add-in. We had the steps when we were coming down the hill, and it was just like, what do we do with this spot? You know, I was like, well, I mean, we can put a water feature right here, just a nice little pondless waterfall. We've got the slope. It'll be pretty quick and painless. The cool thing is it'll throw the noise at you guys while you're sitting by your fire pit and the outdoor kitchen. And this was a cool part too, where we built up this wall up here with all the boulders and whatnot, but then blending it to make it look just like one seamless wall that just goes around. Looks like you have your steps that just run right up through it, and then that wall just continued all the way around the fire pit. When you get a patio this big, I mean, this is over 1,000 square feet. A lot of times one paver or even like a two-piece that we call it will get monotonous. So what we like to do, especially when we build all these paver patios, is we'll do the body of the patio in a certain, you know, style, like a two-piece or a three-piece or a one-piece paver. But then what we'll do to really just give it some character is we'll do the same style of paver, but a bigger piece. You can see where we have, you know, like a two-piece paver in here, and then we have the same style of paver, but the big 12 by 12 square that literally just goes all the way around the patio to not just outline it, but to give it that character. The other cool thing is, oh, wonderful. Look at this. It's my weed dealer. Gave me my bag. He's from New York, so, you know, I mean, you get the good stuff. You get the good stuff is what you get. But you can see what it also helps us do is make different like rooms, so we can take a patio and break it up. Over here, we took those same border pavers and just did a nice circle that lines up and is in line with the actual fire pit itself. So it's tedious work because you really do set a stake in the middle and you keep that diameter, you keep that arc just consistent all the way around. And so it's a little time consuming. You can see where we almost have to cut literally every single paver, but it's just one of the things that really adds dimension to the patio. It makes you kind of feel like, okay, they're in the fire pit room, and then over here, they're in the kitchen. And then on the other side of this, there's even more space. So, I mean, it's really cool. You know, I think these days, especially on the internet, and everybody likes to put all these monster builds out there, and we're so fortunate. We're so fortunate to be able to build these things, and people trust us with their homes and their finances and everything. And it seems like the last couple years, everybody wants a pool, or everybody wants an outdoor living area. And I gotta tell you, man, my favorite really is like the paver patio. It's the outdoor, it's the true outdoor living space, right? Like, so what is outdoor living? It's when you come home and you go inside to maybe drop something off, but you go outside on your back porch or your back patio like this, because this is where everybody's hanging out. And the cool part is you have it during the day like this. The better part is at night, because then we light it up. This is why I do it, because you bring families back together. If you're parents, you got middle school, high school kids, and you want them to have a safe place to go, I'm telling you, these are the spots they go. They're safe, they're not getting in trouble. They've got fire pits, they've got food, they've got TV, they got everything you have inside your house, but just outside enjoying nature. You know, we're cooped up in offices, or we're maybe on the road all day long. And sometimes the last thing you want to do is come home to just sit on your couch. When people call me and they want a patio, one of the first questions I ask them, like, why do you want this patio? We want to hang out with our family. Done, I've got you. Let's talk about this, you know? It's not just to come over and be the next guy that, you know, tries to bid on a patio. I really want to know why you want to do it, so that way I can help your vision for what you have for your backyard actually come true. And that's what gets me going in the morning, because I can come back to something like this 6 years later and say, wow. I bet you could get the old 96er in a place like this.
Bon appetit.
Oh, good God.
Definitely see myself getting an old 96er here.